this saw, which is a bit rough and a bit tricky. And I'm getting that. That's the back of it, luckily. I mean, it's straight, it's on the line, but look at that. But I don't have enough here to just bin these bits, you know, so I'm going to have to use it. I've got another one there ready to cut, and these are going to fit up there. I just hope they don't look terrible. Alright, so I do need to sand it back a little bit or something, because it's 0.5 millimeter too big, and I've got no way of getting that sorted. So I just found these in my little tool collection. That's a Shinto rasp, but I know there's a fine side, so I'm just going to try and use that. But I also found this. I might have to start cutting them with that. I think that's probably a better idea. Oh God, it's just becoming... I mean, putting the big strips up and like flush cutting these bits while they're on are easy, but fitting things in, you know, where the full panel is in, but obviously I left a bit of a gap, and fitting stuff in there is a bit tricky. So I mean, I'm going to put like something running up the wall, something small, just to make it blend in, but I didn't think it was going to be big enough to hide any mistakes. So currently I'm trying to fit stuff in, and I know there's going to be a big sort of strip of wood running along there, but because the ceiling is out, I'm going to have to scribe that in as well, and I don't know how I'm going to cut something that long without a circular saw or a table saw. That's gonna take some doing. Alright, so this is currently where I'm at, using the fine side, and I'm just gonna, oh God, I suppose you're not gonna see the back if I break it. Oh God. Maybe that's enough. Let's find out. Here we go. Oops, apologies. It's on a really crap TEMU tripod. So let's put that on there, and oh look. I mean, it's not in properly, but I have a friction fit at some point. Oh, I can't even film properly. There's some kind of friction fit, but when that's in, it should be okay. And I'm sure I can fill these bits. I can figure that out. That's a damn shame. But there we are, something's happening. I hope you guys have enough respect for Superman trousers. Right, I'm gonna try this. I want to see if I can get a better cut with it, and I'm going to use the fine side. Alright, okay, so it's pull, isn't it, to cut, so I'm going to push to line it up. Oh God, see, this is where I say help. Again, I'm glad I'm cutting the front, because, oh, do you know what, it's just too fine, because the back's breaking, and that is so awkward. That is so awkward. No, do you know, I don't, what about this? Is this gonna do it? I don't know. I do have another clamp. Let me clamp this down again. It's so awkward because I the room is so small, and because I'm in the middle of decorating the other room, which there's nothing to be filmed in there, it's just painting and stuff. I've put my bed away and I'm on a camping bed in the living room. See, this is fine. And this is the TEMU flush cut saw. It's you know, there's a little snippet on the end. You know, that actually went better than I thought it would. It did go a bit better than I thought it would. Right. That it's going to be another friction fit. I just cannot believe my luck with these two. It's obviously not going to stay like that. I'm going to fit them in now and nail them in, but this tripod's absolutely crap, so I'm just going to do that and I'll show you what it looks like. Yeah, so I mean it fits quite tight, but that's not the best, obviously. But they are straight. I did put the spirit level on them and made sure that they were okay. But yeah, then it's just a case of working all the way down that post with them. And the same with these, I need to fill that. I'm going to fill them completely. Only difference with these is that I'm going to, if I can find a way to do it, oh no, do you know what, I measured them, they will slide straight in. Because I changed my mind on the speakers and then I changed my mind again, and now I'm just not 100% sure with what I'm going to do about the speakers. So we will just see, but all this, that needs to be filled in all the way down, this bit, and obviously they're only going to be like this, so I'm going to put the panels on the inside in. I know they'll probably stick out a little bit, but I want to put corner pieces on everything. Hopefully that will look okay, but you know, it's getting there. So I know this is terrible, but I have run out of wood, the paneling, and I've got 3 layers to put there. One of them is long enough. In fact, it's you know, long enough for the bottom there. The problem I have, I know there's a gap on the end, but I'm just going to have to fill that. But as for the rest of it, I'm going to have to try and make them fit. I mean, I know that when I put, I'm just going to have to slot these together just for a moment, just to kind of show you what I'm kind of dealing with here. If I can actually get these together. Worst camera work you'll ever see. So this kind of thing, obviously that's too big, so I can cut some sizes down. I mean, that's not the end of the world, and you know, they need to kind of fit in there. If I can find 2 bits that fit fine without me having to cut them, then what I can do with these bits here is maybe put a board behind just to hold them together, so they're a little stronger at least. So I'm just going through these boards looking for the smallest ones. Okay, so I've sorted through the boards. This is going to be a pain. I'm just going to have to go buy some. That's the only thing I can think of, is I just go and buy some, which isn't something I wanted to do, but you know, what are you going to do? So off to the shops. B&Q, I think. So after a lot of thought, this whole side here, I wanted to kind of match the wall. I think I just want to keep this stuff to the front. I've been and bought another packet just to finish off the little bits, and what I've done for the side is I've bought a sheet of 6mm MDF. It was cut to size in the shop. The wall is just shy of 400mm wide, and this was cut to 400mm wide, so I've got a bit of play with it. I'm going to be running a router over the edge of this. I'm just going to cut this line, so it's exactly, I think it's 290 centimeters floor to ceiling. Yeah, so once that's cut, I can stick it on the side, and then I can start putting my smaller bits on the edge and finishing that up. Cool. So I've got this far. It's not the cleanest cut, but what a pain in the ass to cut this stuff is with that. And I've clamped the end to hold it up because I thought, well, that's going to help things, isn't it? Fat lot of use that's doing. But, and these aren't mistakes. I was trying to see if one of my older squares is straight, and yeah, close enough. Oh, this stuff's hard. Right, back to it. This squeaky, stupid stuff. Right, so this bit here I've got to cut out for the skirting board. I've got to go around it, so I've just used the small flush trim saw. That one, a little one, just to cut this out. It did an okay job on the coarse side of the blade. So I'm going to roughly fit this, because it's all going, the edges are going to be covered anyway, so let's carry on with that bit. Right, so sorry, it's a messy here now. I'm getting a bit frustrated again, but I'm going to have to use the router to just trim off some of that MDF I've put up, because the place I got it from, it's a great place, the people are lovely, but I think they need to calibrate the table saw a little bit, because it's just a little bit out. And so I've got the factory edge against the wall, which is actually flat, and now I need to sort this out because it's bowing out slightly on the other side, which I can't have. Yeah, I'm not sure if you can see this, but I've got a piece of this board up against the framework now, and you can see it's sticking out a bit, so I'm just gonna run the router along it like that, just to you know, I don't know if you can see the gap. I know it doesn't look like much, but when the boards are on it will be, and I really need this to be flush for when I put the cornered bits on. Sorry for my poor videoing, I'm just still getting used to all this. So here's a word of advice. Now this, I've miscalculated, and these, I need to make some of them to fit there, because when I fill this up, there's that much of a gap when I fit that in, and that's not great. So I'm going to have to, luckily it's only these, and I'm just going to have to put them there. Now I thought that I would be clever and try and cut a groove in there so it slots into the other ones with that. And while doing that, the piece of wood, now this is a word of advice for anybody that you know, whose brain works like mine. When you're cutting like this, don't hold it like that. The saw, I was still, because I was going quite fast, I was still cutting, it's still, right, I need to stick that down properly. I was still cutting when it hit my hand, so I didn't just catch my hand, I was still moving my hand back and forth. I really cut into my hand there. I don't know if it needs stitches, I don't think so, but I'm going to have to go and tape all this up properly for that. Post accident, that should do it. I've done it like in such a way where if I'm grabbing stuff, I'm going to pull it tighter. It's not, I've just got flabby hands. It's not tight enough to sort of cut off the circulation, but yeah, if I do grab anything, it just pulls it tighter. So hey, win for me. Well, not really, but you know, ka-chow, I can still work. I'd say that makes more sense. Let's continue. So what I was doing was just gently kind of, I'm gonna have to clamp it better than that, but you get the idea. Just realised I didn't need to cut the groove when I can just cut the back off. If I can focus on that. Yeah, just maybe that'll work. I hope it does. We'll find out. Okay, I'm gonna say it. I think we've got a mutual understanding. I'm starting to get respect for this. It is not, it's no good for flush cutting, but as for trimming these down and getting them to fit with a really nice quick cut, they're not perfect. They're not going to be. I've noticed there's, I don't know if you can see, but it comes across nice and straight and it's tilting back a little bit. I have mismeasured somewhere in there. Luckily, it's not that much. It's just not, I don't think it's going to be too bad. If I come over here, it looks pretty straight. It might just be my eyes, but it also might not. So it's all kind of gone in without a hitch. I need to make some more half-sized ones to fit on the bottom there and the bottom and the end over there, and then everything else should match. This makes me feel cool. Look how cool I am. Not. That was stupid. At least I'm not bleeding everywhere. Right, so I need to make a load of these. They're about 2 inches wide, and I'm just going to use this as a template to mark up all the rest as I cut them, because I know that if I keep measuring 2 inches with the, I know it's very small, but the thickness of that, eventually it'll work its way down to under 2 inches. That's what I think anyway. So I'm just going to cut that and use it as a template. Okay, so I'm in the process of, I've got a couple up there, but obviously I need to come all the way down. I need to do that bit and go all the way up that side. So I've got to make 35 of these, and I've done 5. That's my template. So I think I've got 18 there. This is tedious. This is where I think a miter station would have come in handy. So I'm just going to use these offcuts now to try and make some more. See how many I can get out of them. Okay, so I've just edged over there. It's hard to see, you know. Just edged over. It's a little bit off, but you know what? I'm doing all this by hand. I've cut all these bits. They've all been nailed in, and they fit. There we go. There's something, and all these rough edges here, I'm gonna, when I put the boards inside, in there, and in there, then I will get the router on those and flush them in. But as it stands, I'm quite happy with it, you know. For my first time cutting things by hand and trying to, you know, I haven't done that one yet, so that's why it's like that. But yeah, it's coming, it's getting there slowly. So I think I'm slowly starting to get the knack for flush trimming. It's not perfect, but it's way better and it slots in just fine.